Hi guys, I'm Shmi. Hello and welcome back to the channel where today you join me to take a look at the completely absurd Lamborghini Sterrato. Sterrato, and please excuse my Italian pronunciation, is literally the word for dirt, and what we're looking at is an off-roading supercar based on Lamborghini's Huracan EVO, except you'll notice it sits taller, it's wider, it has beefy arches all around. At the front there are rally lights, on the roof there's a light bar, it also has a special livery. So at the moment it's a concept, it's a one-off. But what about dreaming of this going into production, a proper off-roading supercar? In any case though, let's take a look now at one of the wildest Lamborghinis that's ever been introduced. This is the new Lamborghini Sterrato. What we're looking at here then with the Lamborghini Sterrato is what happens when you give the team at Lamborghini's Centro Stile design department the brief to go out and build an off-road supercar. Yes, that's a slightly strange concept. Of course, Lamborghini have the Urus, their super SUV, a proper off-roader, but this is based on the V10 engine platform, the Lamborghini Huracan, which has been an immensely successful model for the company, and in this case, it's based on the Huracan EVO, the latest update that brought about lots of new technology, including four-wheel steering, but we'll get onto more of that later on. Design-wise, you can see some traits of the EVO, you can also see some traits of the Performante, the hardcore version of the original Huracan, but just look at this thing. It looks like it could eat up dirt tracks, head out through the desert maybe, who even knows what you could do with it, going ice driving or something on frozen lakes. This car looks so cool. It's such a strange concept to make a normal road supercar into something that can go off-road, but I love that Lamborghini throw out the rulebook and do what they want so often with these projects. We've seen things like the Terzo Millennio, the Veneno, even going back a bit further, the Reventon, all of these cars which are absurd to the extreme. So you look at this, from the very front of it, the aggression of it, it's sitting a little higher than the normal car due to the tyres that it has, also raised up in terms of the suspension as well. It's 47mm taller in fact, 1.85 inches, and it's also 30mm wider, thanks in part to those bulged out arches that you can see encompassing the wheels and tyres setup, but based around the familiar bodywork of the Huracan. The front bumper itself is actually designed like that of the Performante, and you'll also notice the reinforcement in the centre. You've got 1 degree additional angle of attack at the front and 6.5 degrees angle of departure at the rear, so you can maybe take this thing off-roading over some big rocks as well. The fender flares, those are blown out all around the car, but the rest of the bodywork, pretty familiar from the regular car. You'll notice though, right at the front, one of my favourite touches are those rally lights. Hexagonal in their design, like so many features on the Lamborghinis. When you look around these cars, you see triangles, Y-shapes, hexagonals, pretty much everywhere around them, whether that's in the lights, whether that's in some of the interior trim, and in this case, those very bright LED rally lights attached to the front bumper either side of the Lamborghini badge, just in front of the luggage storage you find behind. Then up on the very top, again, the LED roof light bar going all the way across, the centre piece of the light attached at either sides, just giving it that ruggedized look as well. I think the whole look of this car is just super cool, that they've said, let's go out and make this, let's design this, let's make it happen, let's introduce it. I never saw it coming, that's for sure. Around the side of the car though, you'll spot these new wheels, these 20-inch gold wheels with balloon tyres, significantly larger tyres than the more track-orientated tyres that you'll find on the regular road car. But the back of the car, actually very familiar from the Huracan EVO. The way you have the integrated lip spoiler at the very back, just behind where the engine bay is, lots of reinforced components around the lower sections again, you'll notice on the lower diffuser, all absolutely important if you want to take it off-road. Also the same on the side sills, you can spot under the side sills, again reinforced, and also some carbon fibre mud guards as well, found all around it. The livery of the car as well, let's talk about that. The number 63, 1963, the year Lamborghini was founded, a very significant year for the company. Back in 2013, they celebrated their 50th anniversary, but 63 seems to be making a comeback. 63 of the special editions of the Aventador SVJ, for example, and potentially more projects in the works that will reference that number that we'll be finding out about in due course. So also back there, you've got the familiar 5.2 litre naturally aspirated V10. In this car, again, like in the EVO, as per in the Performante, making 640 horsepower and 600 Newton meters of torque. Huge, huge numbers. So this thing, we've got four-wheel drive, it has Lamborghini's LDVI, excuse me if I pronounce this badly as well, Lamborghini Dinamica Veicolo Integrata. This is the system that brings together all of the different characteristics of the car's technology and computers. So the four-wheel drive system, the four-wheel steering, the suspension, and in this case, everything has been reworked for the off-roading environment to make it more appropriate and set up, because of course the dynamics are going to be very different to what is actually required in the road car. Although we can't actually see the interior of this one itself, inside there they're saying it's got a titanium roll cage, full racing bucket seats, 4-point harnesses, and presumably lots of the technology as well that we saw at the launch of the Huracan EVO, so the integrated screen in the centre where you can control all of your different features and the like. But the car on the outside, that's the big talking point, isn't it? The roof rails with the bar attached across them, the design of the livery that you can see, the way down the bonnet you have the central tricolore stripe behind the 63, the headlight design also has this continuation that comes back towards the windscreen line, presumably the glass house, the front window and the side windows, all matching that of the road car, and just behind the normal road car that we know from the Huracan, and just behind the side windows you also spot the intakes for the extra cooling that comes through towards the engine, absolutely vital when you're running this kind of power, as you also have down at the end of the side skirts. Just above those, around the side, from where you have the front carbon fender, it goes around with this tricolore stripe that then tucks down underneath the 63 and swoops down towards the rear. Again, nice touches. I always love a tricolore, the Italian flag, and the way you see it in that case coming down towards the back, where you also have that small little Centro Stile touch there, I think emphasising where it was actually designed and the team that are responsible for this crazy creation. I mean, Lamborghini are not shy of introducing cars that they want to make, whether that is things, as I mentioned before, like the Veneno, or in this case, going completely outside the box, a one-off. This, I believe, is only a concept, not a car destined for production or for a customer. We saw the Alston, the SC18 Alston from Squadra Corsa not all that long ago, where that was an example of them going and making a one-off car just for one customer, in this case based on the race car and much more of a racing ethos, whereas the car that we're looking at here, the Sterrato, is the completely opposite side of that. And I guess maybe they've said, hey, since we made the Urus, what about if we actually made a real supercar? So the Urus is quite a super SUV, nobody's going to disagree with that. It's an incredibly fast car, 650 horsepower I believe, 850 newton meters, some ridiculous numbers like that, and it can get a move on, that's for sure. Twin turbo V8 up front, but this is a mid-engined off-roader. That's not a very normal concept. Engine behind you, still mated to the 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which is lightning fast, still sounding absolutely epic because it's a naturally aspirated V10, but off-roading with an engine behind you. Is this a concept that's going to make its way back? Is this going to be a thing in the future? We've seen a number of different manufacturers, or kind of more boutique manufacturers and designers and coach builders, introducing concepts or ideas of heading in this direction, but I didn't expect Lamborghini to bring out one. This is a total surprise for me. I never saw or would have imagined a car like the Sterrato to have been presented, yet here it is. We're looking at the car power sliding away through the dirt, making clouds of dust as it goes behind it. But what would this be like if it was driving through the city? Could you imagine one of these just cruising through the city? People would look at it like, what are you on? What is that thing? What is that car? But this is the result of taking the rule book and literally throwing it away and saying, yeah, we want to do this, let's have a go, let's make a car, let's not follow tradition, let's just go out of the box and do something different. And I think they had to be commended pretty highly for doing that. Well, that more or less brings me then to the end of my first look at the crazy off-roading Lamborghini Sterrato that's just been presented, and what a thing it is. As I said though, it's just a concept, a one-off, and sadly that means it's very unlikely that the Sterrato would ever actually go into production, but one can dream. And what I really like about Lamborghini is that they come up with the idea, they say let's give it a go, they design it, they make it, they launch it, they present it, and that gives them the opportunity as well to gauge the feedback, the comments, the interest, whether that's from customers, from viewers of content like this, or from the media and different publications. And in the case of the Sterrato, if you think about this, it's actually based on the Huracan EVO. That means they've already got the 5.2 litre engine, which with its gigantic exhaust tailpipes will no doubt sound truly fantastic. The gearbox is there, the technology is there, the body is pretty much there. Basically, it's already there as a road car, just being adapted. So I reckon if a customer or if a group of customers came forward, potentially Lamborghini could say, Let's do this and make a very limited, super rare and exclusive run of them. So, who knows? Maybe that will go ahead and end up happening. If anybody out there is watching and you want to do this, I would love to see it, and please take it around a dirt track and drive it properly. What a thing though, the Sterrato, what a crazy idea, what a thing that's now been brought through and built and created. Amazing work again by Lamborghini, so thank you very much for watching as always guys. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to the car, and maybe one day in the future on the channel we'll be able to see more with it if it comes to fruition. For now though, that's it for me, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers!